Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this tutorial we're gonna make this cute double circle skirt. So it's two circles together, and then you get these really nice deep pleats, very flowy, very funny. So this is what we're gonna make. Please like and subscribe if you like these videos. And for that double circle skirt I have this beautiful fabric. I have had it for quite some time and I knew I wanted to make this out of it, and it's a very thick, heavy fabric. It is a beige with gold painted on, and I'm not sure, I don't think this is meant for clothing. I think it's for upholstery or something, but I'm also not sure what you should make then out of it. It's also not curtains, because it's way too thick for that. But I thought it's really nice to make a double circle skirt out of it, because it will stand out. I hope it will stand out very much, and I'll have those big pleats, and I hope it will turn out like that. Otherwise maybe I'll just throw it on a chair or something to give that some new clothing. But I really like to use this fabric and see how it comes out. And what you must do, you're probably familiar with making a normal circle skirt. What we do now is, because we need two circles, we're gonna take our waist measurements, and then you take half of that, so half your waist divided by 2 times pi, and that is the radius you get that you use now for cutting out the circle in the corner. And what you do is you fold your fabric in two. Your fabric is already doubled as it comes from the shop. Then you fold it again in two. I will zoom you out a bit. And what I did to make sure that I have enough fabric is I marked the middle of the whole fabric, and then I folded the sides to the middle, and then I'm sure I have two exactly the same length of fabric. And then find out where you want your circle to cut, what will be your waistline when you fold it open. So mark it with a pen or a pin or something, and then fold the fabric open, that you're sure that you cut out the right corner, because otherwise you have a problem. Because the corner that you cut out must have the double fold. So if I take this corner has a fold here on the side and a fold here. So when I cut this corner out for the waist and I open it up, then I have my full circle if I make this seam here. So make sure you have the right one, the double folded side. When I look in the viewfinder, it looks like this is a tablecloth, but I assure you it's really a nice fabric, but it looks really strange in the viewfinder. So what you see looks also strange, I think. So I did my measurements, half my waist divided by 2 times pi. For me that comes to 5.25 centimeters, so I make that 5 because I have rather that it is too tight than that it is too loose. So I cut off the corner with a radius of 5 centimeters, and check, I already checked 3 times if this is the right corner, because when you cut the wrong corner you have a problem, because you cannot take it back what you have cut off. So make sure you have the right corner with the double folds on both sides, and then cut off your circle for the inner circle where your waist will be. And then we do that 2 times. And then for the length I just take as much as I have of the fabric, so it will be a rather short skirt, but I think that is nicest because it will be a very wide one, and you cannot have that as a long skirt because otherwise you cannot go through the doors, I think. So I'll make it, it will be about knee length. So I cut off my corners, then I have to cut my
fabric in two because I hadn't done that yet. And then I must mark the seam of my skirts. Oops, I had a pin here to hold it in place and that was not the marking of my seam. So I cut too little. So I have to mend this, look. A big hole in my skirt I cut wrong. And this is one circle, and I think you can see now how thick this is and how this falls. It falls in really big pleats, and that is why I wanted this fabric for this, because I think when I have two circles it will be really nice and really big, and that was the idea of the double circle skirt. And here is the other one. And then what we do, we have to open them up, of course, because we have to sew them together. Here's the next one. So we're going to cut, and easiest is just where the one fold is, open them up, and then we can sew them together. And then the only thing we have to do is finish the top and finish the bottom. If the length is enough, if I have enough fabric, I'll just hem it. Otherwise I will give it a sort of trim down the bottom or whatever. I'll see how the top is, what I'll do with the waist. I certainly will put in the zipper in the connecting seam. So it will be just an inseam zipper, or maybe an universal zipper, just what I have and what looks nicest. So we're gonna cut them open and then sew them together. So make one seam just closed and the other one put a zipper in. So measure how long your zipper must be, or whatever zipper you have, and then close the rest up and put in your zipper. So now we're going to sew the other seam, and we're going to sew that the top part, as long as the zipper is, a basting stitch, so a wide stitch, because we have to open it up later on when we have put the zipper in, and then below the zipper you do a normal straight stitch. So don't back stitch now, just do a long basting stitch. And then we go back to a normal stitch, and here you do a back stitch because it's important that it doesn't rip open when you open up your zipper. So you go back and then finish till the end. now press your seam nice open and then pin your zipper to the seam, sew it on, and then take out your basting stitch here. And if you're not familiar with how to put it in a zipper, I have a special tutorial about that, so watch that first if you're not familiar with this. And then in that tutorial I show you very thoroughly how you can make this the easiest way. So watch that first if you don't know how to do this. And now that I wanted to open up my zipper to show the last piece, I saw that my zipper is broken, so that is a shame. I have to take it out and take another zipper because this is not going to work. Can you see it? It's just opening up here, so I have to take it out and do it again. Now measure how wide the opening of your skirt is for your waist. It should be just about your waist width. So I marked that down, and I want to be the waistband rather small, so I marked 2 centimeters and then 1 centimeter on each side for the seam allowance. So I marked it 6 centimeters, cut it out, fold it double, and then sew it onto the skirt. And of course the length, you must add a few centimeters for the overlap, because of course you have to put them over each other, on top of each other with the bottom. So make sure you add just about 2 or 3 centimeters in the width of the or the length of the waistband. So, and then I was thinking what to do with finishing of the hem, because it is a whole lot of meters, the whole hem all around. So I thought of using some bias tape, but I don't have enough. I have meters of this, but it's not enough for the whole double circle. So that's not gonna be it. Then I tried some horsehair, because that is very stiff, and then you get a really nice stiffer falling fabric. But because this is already stiff, I pinned it on a piece a little bit, and it didn't look nice. So also no horsehair. So I think I'm just gonna cut pieces of my same fabric on an angle, so that it is a bit like a bias tape, and it's a bit stretchy and it's easier to sew on a curve. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna cut some strips. I don't make really bias tape out of it, but I just use it to finish the hemline. While cutting, I was so stupid to cut to the wrong pin that I just pinned in to keep the all the fabric layers together. I have now 2 really big whips here in my fabric, just along the seam. I think you can see it. Yeah, you can see it very well. And I have to mend it. It's not nice to stitch it over or something because it's really visible. So I cut out some pieces of interfacing, just a bit longer than the width is, and about 3 centimeters wide, I think. And the best thing to do is, when you look from the right side, you see it is already fraying a bit because this frays very quickly. What I do is I fold the fabric together, right sides together, so that all the fraying is now reaching to the top, and then I lay it flat. I'll do this on my iron board, of course, but I cannot film that, so I show you now how I do that when I really iron it on. Then you lay it flat again, and then you have all the tiny pieces on this side of your fabric, because you don't want it on the right side, because then it's really visible. And then you put your interfacing on top of it, and then you press very well, and then you don't see all these little pieces of the fraying on the right side, and then hopefully it will not be visible from the right side. I have one here too. This one is less fraying, but it's obvious it's a very busy fabric, so I hope you will not see it afterwards, because it's very annoying that I did this. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna end my seam. So I put my interfacing on the seam, or on the whip, the whip what I cut wrong, and when you lay it flat it is hardly visible, so I'm very happy with that. Then what I did is I ironed, or I steamed the seam. And what I did, I first seamed it open, and I do that normally from the right side, but you can also do it from the wrong side. And then I folded the facing in. And the funny thing is, because this is on the bias cut, when you use steam, and when your fabric is cotton, I must say, if you have polyester or something, this doesn't work. But when you have cotton and you press it with steam, the curve gets a bit cinched in, so that, because more on top of the skirt, it's smaller, so you need less fabric, less circumference. But because with the steam you can shrink cotton a bit, and then what you get when you fold it in, it has almost the same size as your skirt has, if I make any sense. I think not, but maybe you understand. But it doesn't matter, just iron it with steam, hot, if you have cotton fabric, and then steam your facing back in like a seam is. And then what I do is I'm going to finish the edge of the facing with my serger. You can also do it with your sewing machine on a zigzag stitch, but I do it with more tension on my thread. And then also I get a smaller curve on the edge of the seam, because it gets together more. It's more dense then. And then I'll stitch, I don't know what, I think 1 or 2 centimeters from the edge. I stitch it over all the way around, and then my seam is nicely finished, and I'm very curious how it will fall now this fabric is double on the seam. But the more bold folds the better, because that is why I made it. So I'm very curious how it will look when it's really finished. So I'm gonna do that. The only thing I have to do is put a button on and a buttonhole on the waistband, and then the skirt is finished. Here is the double circle skirt, and I think it looks really lovely. It's rather heavy because it's a thick fabric, but I think it looks so nice with these big pleats, and well, I really like how it looks. It's very funny, and I'll show you a close-up of the fabric, because I think you can't really see what it has, because it has all kinds of golden imprints on it, and that makes it in real life really nice, and that's why I matched it with the golden top and the golden shoes. And to show you some more detailing of my fabric, because I think in the video it's not really obvious how it looks. The gold is what makes the fabric really special, because otherwise it just looks like a curtain and it's certainly not that. So I hope you can see it. Yeah, that there. You see it? Now it's reflecting a bit more the light, and it's really nice fabric because of all the gold that is on it. And I think I think it's very nice skirt, and when you make it just in a plain fabric, I think it's also good for wearing just on normal days, because it's just a really nice white skirt, and when you make it longer it would be a really nice skirt for a ball gown or something, because of all the really nice pleats that are falling in, because it's a lot of fabric. And I'm very happy with the result. I had the idea for quite some time, and I had the fabric for quite some time, so I'm happy that I now finally have made it. So, the double circle skirt. My next video will be my closet room that is just on the back of you. It's finally finished, except for the mirrors, but that's not a problem. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you like this video again. Please subscribe if you like my videos. Please share them with others if you like how I sew and how my ideas are and how I teach you how you must do some things. I certainly will make also a video of the inseam pockets that I forgot. I thought I had a tutorial about that, but I did it in one video very thoroughly, but it's easier when you have a separate tutorial of things so that you can easily find what you're looking for. So I'm gonna do that too. And what I also saw, I don't have a specific tutorial about a basic pattern for a skirt, so also that I will do very quickly, because also that's very nice to have, and then you have all your basic patterns together, because the skirt was the only one that I didn't have, so that will be upcoming very soon. So thank you so much for watching again, and I'll see you again next week with my closet tour. Bye!